Hey, welcome everybody. I am the YouTuber here for this special Saturday video. This is a new show that has come. I was going to start this in 2021, but I decided to start it now, and it's going to go through to the end of the year and on next year for the first full year next year. But we'll have it for the remainder of the 2020 year. And basically what it is this is not for Madden exclusively for Madden 21. It's just this is what we're talking about in this particular episode, simply because it's one of the upcoming series I'm going to be doing on my channel. So we basically take a look at a particular game or a series of games and say, okay, this is the upcoming series. This is what we're going to talk about for the next whatever time frame, and then we may start another series, and so it's each week is going to be talking about a different game that I'll have on my channel throughout the course of the year. So this is where this is going to come in. So when I do announcements on the Rush Hour Renegade, I won't have to say particularly a particular game. That is saved for this show. So, like I said, on the Rush Hour Renegade, when I do the Rush Hour Renegade Monday through Friday, it will be just, the sports news and scores, plus weather, plus just the general announcements like what's coming up on my channel, but not too much detail as far as game by game. That is going to be discussed weekly for the week ahead. So whatever the week ahead is, so basically this week's show is for the week of the 10th through the 16th. Or 10th through the 15th, sorry, since there's no videos on Sunday. So it's going to be the 10th. This is as for the 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th, 14th, and 15th week of games and gameplay from my video games that I have, my collection of games, which whether they're game show, sports, or board game turned video game. Whatever the game is, there's different categories in there. Sports, and there's you break it down to baseball and all that. So that's what's going to be talked about on this show. It's only once a week on Saturday, so we do it for Saturday for the upcoming week. So it's done every Saturday. So the 8th is for the 10th to the 15th. The 15th show is for the 17th to the 22nd. 22nd will be for the 24th through the 29th. And then 29th for the 31st through whatever that next and first Saturday of September is. So it's kind of whatever the show is, it's for the week ahead, the week to come. So each would be a week ahead of it. So we'll talk, what's to come that coming week. The reason why we are doing it this way is it saves more room for more sports topics on the Rush Hour Renegade. We were running out of time on the Rush Hour Renegade talking about sports because this took some time to talk about because there's lots of games that are on my and gameplay that's on my channel. So there's lots of games and gameplay on my channel. It needs to be discussed on here rather than on the Rush Hour Renegade. So, yes, I'm doing two shows. One's weekly and one's Monday through Friday, so I'm never going to have two shows in one day. So, there you have it. That's the explanation for what brought on this show. And yes, we are going to have this show and the Rush Hour Renegade, so both shows are going to be there on my channel. So we'll still do the Rush Hour Renegade, and I'll still bring you the Rush Hour Renegade Monday through Friday. This will be on Saturdays throughout the year. And there's no off time, so you're just gonna go so it's just gonna be going higher and higher and higher and higher and higher. There's no off season because there's no off break. There's gonna be some gameplay to talk about throughout the year, whether it's hockey and football and Olympics and Wheel of Fortune or whatever the case may be. Wheel of Fortune, there's no off season to it. Neither is Are You Smart Fifth Grader or Family Feud. So when we talk about those games. Yeah, we're going to be talking about Madden 21. In my opinion, Madden 21, of course, it hasn't come out yet. It won't come out until the 28th or 27th if it's the standard edition. It will come out on the It will come out on the 25th for the MVP edition and the deluxe edition. So, still a list for that game to come out, but there's some stuff that we do know about. As far as what's going to be on Madden 21, and that's what we'll talk about today in this weekly gameplay show. My gameplay, why I call it my I don't know if I'll keep it this title, or I'll edit it. I'm thinking about saying that it's gameplay, the Gameplay Weekly Show. I'll just call it the Gameplay Weekly Show from this point. I'll add in the title later on. So, let's get into the show so that we're ready to talk about the stuff. Don't know how long we'll do this show, just depending upon how much we have on a particular game. If it's a game that has not been released, it may not be as long of a show. But we could talk hours and hours on Madden 21. So it is what it is. So I don't know. All right, so let's talk about what we do know as far as what we've heard on the internet or other YouTubers that talk Madden 21 on their channel. Because there's others besides me that do Madden 21 gameplay and talk Madden 21 gameplay. Or they will do Madden 21 when it comes out, but this screenshot was from the pre-order bundle. It gives us this little background thing you can have behind your on your home screen, your main screen. I just screenshotted that and made it a thing on Share Factory. So I'm in Share Factory if you're wondering where I'm on, what program software I'm on my PlayStation. So I don't need my controller, so I'll just set it down here because I'll just be talking. I don't need my phone either, I may look at my phone just for reference purposes for Madden 21, so I know stuff. Our first topic, as far as Madden 21, I know we've talked about Madden 21 on the Rush Hour Renegade, but we're going to dive a little bit more deeply into Madden 21 on today's show. We may have the next 3 or 4 episodes talking about Madden 21 since it's a new game, and we'll talk. I don't know if we'll talk about everything in this episode, or we're going to save some stuff for other episodes next week. For the next episode next week, for the second episode. Since this is the first and premiere episode, this is the one that starts it all. So it's going to be a little different than the other ones because you're just getting a gist of what the show is going to be like. So, what we do know in Madden 21, we will have Face of the Franchise is going to return, and it's going to look a little bit different than Madden 20. Face of the Franchise, Face of the Franchise, you create your player. You find out that some player is transferring to your school that you committed to, and you have to fight your way, and he starts over you, and you're playing on the bench the majority of your season until I don't know what the situation is. I can't remember what the situation and scenario is, but somehow he's unable to start the college football playoff game, and that's when you come in, and that's where your journey to the NFL begins. You play one or two college football playoff games. If you win, you go to the national championship and you play that, and then you go to the draft. You go to the combine, you throw your skill passes as your quarterback, and you get to the draft, and you get invited to the draft, and you show your avatar at the draft with your agent. In my opinion, I hope they have a different looking agent in Madden 21. That guy was kind of weird looking. I'm not saying he was. I think he just came along too strong to be your agent. I think he just walked up and like. I felt like, are they allowing just anybody into the combine these days? I mean, nothing personal or put down on whoever wanted that character or that into the game. I don't know anything against that. It just it came off a little bit creepy in some cutscenes in Madden 20 when I played Face the Franchise, but that's just my opinion. Everybody will have their different opinion as far as that guy that's supposed to be your agent in Face the Franchise. I don't know if he's returned for Madden 21 or if you have a different agent. But we do know that it's going to be a little bit different. You're going to have the ability to play 1 or 2 college football seasons, whether that and win 2 or 1 national championships as a college player of your choice. There are 10 teams, different 10 teams. We'll talk about that in a minute. But you start your thing in high school, and I don't know what if you play any high school games or not, or just drills in high school, or kind of like cutscenes and remembering high school with your customized high school logos, like in long shots, or is it actually actually high school? In there, and then you're playing then you commit your school, one of the 10 universities, colleges or universities in the game. And then you start your season, and you either have to go to the draft early to stay as a quarterback, or to stay another year in college. You have to switch to either running back or wide receiver, which I think that's good because since they've started this storyline mode, if you will, with long shots, 2 years of long shots, now this being the second year Face the Franchise, it's always been quarterback only. It's either you are a quarterback or it's either you are a quarterback or you didn't play a position. They didn't have any other positions. Now this one is the first time you have a choice to switch to running back, and then once you're running back or wide receiver, you can have more than one franchise and be a quarterback the entire way, or running back the entire way, or wide receiver the entire way. So I like to see them up it next year to 3. So they went from 1 year to 2 years. Now next I like to see 3 years, and then your whole college career. So I'm thinking you're going to start as a freshman and have freshman and sophomore year, and see if you are going to, I don't know if you can go to the draft as a freshman. It'll probably be sophomore and junior year. Or maybe it's junior and senior year. It's one of those. I think it's junior or senior year. I think it's either, yeah, it's junior or senior year. I'm pretty sure it would be your junior year and senior year. We would have to play it as it goes, but as my understanding, it's 2 years of college, football was. Full seasons, partial seasons, just to, how many games you're going to play, because you've only got 10 teams. So you can put some, there's only 9 opponents, so that's only a 9-game season. You can put a conference team in there and have a 10-game schedule, or you can have 3 non-conference games, and the rest of them, those actual teams, are your conference, and you got some generic teams in there for non-conference play. Yeah. Maybe they have actual teams in the game, and you just can't choose to be a part of that team, but they're in the game. I don't know what that's going to look like as far as that is concerned, but we'll have to wait and see. We'll have I'll start my journey and face that. What I'm doing is I'll start a face of the franchise in Madden 21 when the game comes out, and do it until the until the career of my creative player is done. If I want to start another one, I'll start another one. So I may try it through all 10 teams. I may have 10 different ones just so that we can fill the void of college football. But that's what we know about sort of what we know about face of the franchise. We do know there's 2 new teams in there, and there's 2 teams that have been taken out. Texas Tech and Florida State are the teams that were in it last year, aren't in it this year. Michigan State and Nebraska are in it this year. We didn't have any Big Ten teams in there last year. We do with 2 Big Ten teams this year, Michigan State and Nebraska. And the rest of them are the same teams of last year, which is USC, Clemson, Oregon, OU, Texas, Florida, Miami. So the teams in there are Nebraska, Michigan State. Then you have OU, Texas, Florida, USC, Oregon, Clemson. There's 2 more that I'm leaving out. Let me look. I have it here. Teams in. Oops. Face of the franchise. No, not Madden 21. Madden. Uh, 21. Okay, here it is. Michigan State Spartans, Oklahoma Sooners, Nebraska Cornhuskers, Clemson Tigers, Oregon Ducks, Miami Hurricanes, that's the team in Florida, LSU, and Texas. Yeah, so like I said, you have the 2 new teams are Nebraska and Michigan State. Then the ones from last year that are returning this year are Oklahoma, Clemson, Oregon, Miami, LSU, Texas, USC, and Florida. So you don't have the Florida State game anymore, but you do have Michigan State, Nebraska game that is a traditional game. And of course, the former that OU Nebraska game was a classic. Came back in the day with that, so I think those would be a possibility to have those games. See here. So, North Nebraska didn't really have a good record last year. They still made it into the game. It says, this is on VGR.com, is where I'm getting this from. It says, franchise mode involves 2 college football seasons. There won't be any actual coaches, but official coaches. Brett O'Brien, played by actor Robert Patrick, he was in Terminator 2 and Perry Mason. The fact that EA has managed to bring cultural teams into the mix for 2 straight Madden games has fans at least excited for the future, and it could mean a new in-state football game at some point. The last time there was a game, it was in-state football 14. So, yeah, with, let's see here. Meanwhile, the new Madden 21 game arrives for PlayStation 4 and Xbox One on August 28th, with select pre-order versions bringing access 3 days earlier. I looked when I pre-ordered mine, the regular edition, just the standard edition. It was a day early for whatever reason. So it talks about high school, college, multiple positions, NFL Combine, and NFL storylines. So basically, when you got to the NFL and Face the Franchise, it was just like regular Face the Franchise with your creative player. It didn't have anything spectacular. This one I think is going to have more NFL storylines. So it's going to be a lot more cutscene related. Snoop Dogg's going to have a part in the game. He'll play himself. Rich Eisen. I think you'll still have the announcers, that normally do the game for the NFL. Probably will do the college games too. So Charles Davis and Brian Gaulden, and I'm sure Larry Coachman. I don't know if they're going to go with the score updates and talk about the games that you aren't controlling at the time throughout that week of college football, or not, or how that's going to work. Because I know in regular franchise mode they'll go at halftime talking about the games around the NFL. I don't know if they're going to do that for college football or not. I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see when we play the Face of the Franchise. It's gonna be a lot of fun. Excuse me. So yeah, I feel like it's gonna be a fun game to play, and we're gonna look forward to the franchise mode, regular franchise mode, play now mode. We got the probably the Pro Bowl returning to it. I think you have expanded the playoffs to be more realistic in regular franchise mode. I'm sure you still have Ultimate Team in there, but you have this new mode that was not in Madden 20, but is making its debut in Madden 21, and it's called The Yard. It's kind of like a backyard football mode. Remember backyard, back in the day, backyard football games on the PC, and one backyard football 10 on Xbox 360 game. I remember as a kid playing backyard football on the computer, on a desktop computer, and backyard baseball, and I thought that was a fun game. So I'm glad to know that they have a backyard mode in Madden 21. Speaking of the yard, we'll talk about that. If you have Madden, there's a Madden NFL 21 mobile game free to download for your Apple and Android devices. This is non-sponsored, of course, but you can start the yard mode on there, and it transfer and log into EA Sports there. Once you log in EA Sports on the console edition, whether you have it logged in on the PlayStation or the Xbox One, then it'll transfer over, and you don't have to start a whole new thing with the yard. That's the only mode it transfers over to. I wish it did that for Face of the Franchise. You can do Face of the Franchise on the phone, but you can't. So it's only limited to certain modes. It's still a fun game to download. Though I've been playing Madden Mobile, Madden 21 Mobile, and I played Madden Mobile for a little bit now. So. So, what else I need to talk about as far as Madden 21 on this episode of Gameplay Weekly? The reason why we're talking about Madden 21 in this particular episode is because there's a lot to talk about as far as Madden 21 is concerned, and we'll just basically each week focus on a different game, and that'll be our topic for the show. For the future ones. So hopefully everybody's excited for this new show. I know I'm excited to bring it to you. And don't worry, people who are like the Rush Hour Renegade, you'll still have the Rush Hour Renegade. You just won't have this particular topic of talking about gameplay on there. We'll say that we got a lot of great gameplay coming up on my channel when I do my announcements, but the actual talk about the gameplay of games like Madden and NCAA football and all my games I have will be talked about on this show. So what's people are saying, what's going to be talked about on the Rush Hour Renegade? Sports news and scores, weather, and just generalized announcements, like announcement to this show, or a lot of great gameplay. Check it out on my channel, stuff like that. That's going to be the Rush Hour Renegade moving forward. So there you have it. Is there anything else I can think of that we want to talk about in Madden 21? Talking about Face the Franchise, I think Face the Franchise, there's some bugs and tweaks to that. Not much new there. Maybe a new scoreboard, I think, but I'm not for sure as far as that is concerned. Same announcers for that game. Of course, already updated rosters, and don't know if they'll have what non-NFL or non-team stadiums. I think they may still have London in there, and 2 London games and the Mexico City game in there. Don't know if they'll have Canton, Ohio Hall of Fame, the same Hall of Fame, NFL Hall of Fame in there or not. I know that's been out of the mix for a couple of years or so. So, hopefully we'll have London, the 2 London teams in Mexico on there, and Canton, Ohio. So. Another thing that I want to talk about, and this goes back to Face the Franchise. When you play 2 college seasons, where the game is going to be played. I think you play in NFL stadiums, or you're going to have generic college stadiums for Face the Franchise. That's something to think about. What stadiums are they going to be played at? Well, that's something that we'll have to. That's something to think about. Something for that. I think it's going to be NFL stadiums in the game. It's either NFL or fictional stadiums. One of the two. I don't think they're going to have actual college teams in there. Let me know in the comment section what you think about where the college games are going to be played. So, for those 1 or 2 years of games. If you like this video and like more of this gameplay content, please sure to give this video a like. If you're not already subscribed, be sure you subscribe as well to my main channel. And that's gonna be it for this week of this is gonna be that. This is going to be it for this week's episode of Gameplay Weekly, the Gameplay Weekly show. My Gameplay Weekly show. I think my Gameplay Weekly show sounds pretty good, so I'm going to leave it as what it was. My Gameplay Weekly show, episode 1. Join us next week on Saturday, August 15th for episode number 2 of this new show. Until next time, until the next video, have a great day, and we'll see you next time. Keep on YouTube, everybody.